King Boom.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it.
Dirty Moors still attempt to infiltrate the order. Active Moors are truth, then take it to the corners. Across highways, past hedges and through borders. Move on dirty Moors like broken down waters. Watch out for agents and provocateurs, trying to get next to their heads with the doctor's cures. They never pay dues and don't pay dues, contradicting with King Alfred to give clues like news. Noble Drew Ali died from Palemore blues. Prophet saved him his money before the floor fell through, and that's true. Even though I don't have proof, selling memory tells me don't fall for spooks. Drop mental nukes, hanging from their own vine from the fig tree, looking up at them like Big B. No white flag or mercy for you fags. 5-point and pentagram is on our flag. Green, but not for cream. That dirty Moors took to throw off the balance of the Grand Treasury books, getting offers like high school ballers. Those that infiltrate are not Moors but robbers, robbing the people blind, deaf, dumb, and crippled. They can't tear this up, not one drop or trickle. No matter how hard they try to perpetrate the fraud, dirty Moors always fall on their sword.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it.
Me nah play with on so simmer and easy. From 19 how long, me see it's sleazy. So sick, it's measly and disgusting. Everyone stood there. The Moors did nothing when Drew was attacked. They took the covenant that they will protect him and have his back. Behind on dues by 4 months, going to kangaroo courts to perform stunts. Temples versus temples, lawsuits from inner fights. Not doing their job, 3,500 for birthright. Mufti Force left the post to be in Gucci stores with God. Thank Allah for the Sufi Moors and Buddhist Nagas. Moorish mic renaissance, not rap sagas. Confusion clearer, MC battle scar wearer. Moorish nationality declarer. Straighten out the crooked ways, rap conduct squarer.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it.
Let me strip them down, I'm the bone bearer. Negro, black, colored, minority, death preparer. Not the being, but the label attached. See me like Martin, going crazy, waving gats. Cause you call yourself black, that's a kick me sign on your life. Can't stab your enemy holding the blade of the knife. Numbskull MCs flow so dull that I'm pulling down Orishas like skull caps to torture the rapper, scissor sippers. Rapper, CD scratcher, insert ripper. Call me Jack and get slapped though. Admiral when I flow, major like macro. Don't spit on a cameraman like Pac will, but beat the case like Black Bill but no lawyer. Ask Jim Carrey, liar, liar, do nothing for you while they get rich and pour you. Make you follow magistrate orders that get the coke to snort from wood corners and blocks ghetto. All I see is rappers, dress codes, repedo. Tight shirts, skinny jeans looking like heavy metal bands. I'm not Bay but L like Gred and Hands. I grab mics, no sweat in hands. With birthright brands, I don't worry about getting scanned.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true our leaders started dropping it.
What up?
If you're thinking about using Asana, you can easily sign up and start using it. It's that intuitive.
It's always gonna get you in. What? I'm rocking. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moorish master masons, architects for your children, rapping Friday 13th like Jason without the killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his portion, might be talking to cops, giving them caution. Occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking, see the turning heads. whispering gawking, but he's locked in and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own
We
house.
study the mystics, the adepts, the magi. Wisdom of the ancients can uncalcify eyes. Possible mission, free mental numbness. Extract the substance, rid minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what some purport. As we know by being told, man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got bought. Placed in the devil's hands, ruling the seven lands. To dogma rituals, Negro spirituals. Brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past writers' blocks? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak through saw palms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Wind, brass, and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding the Henry's hearing Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear it fake, giving life to seeds, speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glimpse. Can always look to these holes like hallucinatory pimps. Sun walked the desert, been more ever since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody. Deny it, you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of up fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
Ish, deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. Ish, deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place and schools on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces, peel back, rats, who got cases, fire stain the corridors with flemo faces, game changers, rule benders and no pretenders, style benders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses, send a message to our veterans, soldiers up and get it in, we on our verge, we emerge subliminal beings, third eye seeing, still I participate unwilling.
They wanna break me, shape, bait, grade me. Rolling with my main G, double OMB. SON is crazy for a minute that you think you could take me for a fool like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You've mistaken me, spiders on the roof, in the dark rooms. I've been saying you've mistaken me. You better move or I'll mark it. My weapon is my tongue, your existence to target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide carried out in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Some big cats ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters fragile as porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we acquire hope is a digi skillers of dope, just to keep us afloat. Mind as deep as the boat, brain is a lethal weapon. We one need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levee broke under my Louis Vuitton, the semi-poke. Cause dirty cops that kill your boy, you ain't a joke. The cost of living, higher profits in private prison. These little girls are selling bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas selling niggas just for bail condition. It's like the slavery never ended with the intermission. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and make one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.
Tell everyone about Drew Ali. 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 Tell everyone. Let the world know Drew Ali came. Brought a flag, religion, and free national name. Brought an ID card, don't flash at the hybrid. Learn about the righteous and when we were the pirates. Ancestral creed, clandestine heed. Warnings of the prophet, they can't intercede. Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren needing new homes to Atlantis direction. North, South, and Central, flag continental. Founder and uniting of the Moorish holy temple of science. Nationality is alliance, always in defiance of their wardship compliance. Active, not passive, estate is massive. Use the compass, draw circles around your passions. Carpenter's tool in the man workshop. Corsica bandana, covered eyes in bird box. Return to ancestors' mind, descendants of ancients. Forget the mundane, knowledge attainments. Guided by the principles, our own laws and customs. If they teach but don't bring up Drew Ali, don't trust them. Tell everyone about Drew Ali. 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 Tell everyone. Tell everyone about Drew Ali. 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 Tell everyone.
I told a Filipino woman about Drew Ali. We got more into the pedigree. She said she more. I said that meant more to me. Couldn't have this conversation a few years back when I was a few years black. 2,000 years I cried in tears, but I'm back. Still here, thought manifested from a higher tier. I appear, spirit and flesh with divine warnings. Choose life or death. I heard my mother utter to the Negro, black or color, African American, and that's another. Moors be yourself, no other.
Tell everyone about Drew Ali. 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 Tell everyone. Let the world know Drew Ali came. Brought a flag, religion, and free national name. Brought an ID card, don't flash at the hybrid. Learn about the righteous and when we were the pirates. Ancestral creed, clandestine heed. Warnings of the prophet, they can't intercede. Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren needing new homes to Atlantis direction. North, South, and Central, flag continental. Founder and uniting of the Moorish holy temple of science. Nationality is alliance, always in defiance of their wardship compliance. Active, not passive, estate is massive. Use the compass, draw circles around your passions. Carpenter's tool in the man workshop. Corsica bandana, covered eyes in bird box. Return to ancestors' mind, descendants of ancients. Forget the mundane, knowledge attainments. Guided by the principles, our own laws and customs. If they teach but don't bring up Drew Ali, don't trust them. Tell everyone about Drew Ali. 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 Tell everyone. Tell everyone about Drew Ali. 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 Tell everyone.
I told a Filipino woman about Drew Ali. We got more into the pedigree. She said she more. I said that meant more to me. Couldn't have this conversation a few years back when I was a few years black. 2,000 years I cried in tears, but I'm back. Still here, thought manifested from a higher tier. I appear, spirit and flesh with divine warnings. Choose life or death. I heard my mother utter to the Negro, black or color, African American, and that's another. Moors be yourself, no other. You're the last puzzle in place, now move others. Hatred, slander, lewdness, murders. The pleasure of the lower, rich in promise, so you can prevent effects from causes. Sow a seed planteth, sow a seed groweth. Deep in the soil, with love, truth, peace, freedom and justice. Born on a Friday, I put that on Venus. Creative faith, Allah used a genius. You sent your last prophet to uplift me, so I gotta tell everybody. Tell everyone about Drew Ali, 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 tell everyone. Tell everyone about Drew Ali, 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 tell everyone.
Wealth, freedom, market domination. What if I could hand you that in 4...
The Joe Rogan Experience.
It's kind of stunningly spoken when you see how little England is.
Yeah.
You know, that, I mean, it makes sense what you're talking about with pirates. That, like, they had to be the most horrific monsters to try to control the empire.
Well, it's also insane. By the way, so I did this special in Spain. So I love history. So do you know what year they finally unified Spain, where they got rid of the Moors, and they finally, the Castilians kind of pieced together the Moors, and they finally unified Spain, where they got rid of the Moors, and what year they finally unified Spain, where they got rid of the Moors, and they finally, the Castilians kind of pieced together what we consider modern day Spain. Do you know what year they finally unified Spain, where they got rid of the Moors, and they finally, the Castilians kind of pieced together what we consider modern day Spain? Do you know what year they did that?
No.
1492.
Oh.
The year that Columbus So they literally finally kicked the Moors out. By the way, they were really not nice.
Moors.
They did that?
No.
1492.
Oh.
The year that Columbus. So they literally finally kicked the Moors out. By the way, they were really not nice.
Moors are evil people.
Well, no, they were not nice to the Moors or the Jews. They did that?
No.
1492.
Oh.
The year that Columbus. So they literally finally kicked the Moors out. By the way, they were really not nice.
Moors are evil people.
Well, no, they were not nice to the Moors or the Jews. The
Moors, though, they were conquerors themselves.
They were
too,
conquerors,
right?
but
everybody was back then.
But
right?
I perform.
Happy holiday, Moors. So the Moors are conquerors, but hold on a second. This is Moorish Empire in Europe, page 396. This great king won 30 pitched battles over the Muslims. He was the exemplar of the prevalent crusading passion of the time. His popularity with the clergy surpassed that of any of his royal contemporaries. He founded and endowed, at his own expense, 2,000 churches in the territory conquered from the Moors. He founded and endowed, at his own expense, 2,000 churches in territory conquered from the Moors. So if they conquered it from the Moors, wouldn't that mean that the Moors weren't the conquerors? There would have to be 2,000 mosques for them to go on a campaign to put 2,000 churches in conquered territory that they got from the Moors. There would have to be at least 1,000 mosques there first. Okay, let's just say there would have to be 999 mosques so they can build 1,000 mosques to show their Christian superiority over Islam. Now, if these people just got there, and these other people, known as Moors, have been in this land for a very long time, that would mean that these people are the Aboriginal and indigenous people of this place that they're calling Spain, that these people called Moors got conquered at. So if these people are the first people, the Moors, and the first people who are known as Moors rule the entire world, and it's ruled under something called the Moorish Empire. That's why we could read from a book called History of the Moorish Empire. And there's no scholarly whoever is going to refute or debate anything in this book. We're not talking about the niggers who make YouTube videos. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the scholars. We're talking about the people who went and got their good European education. And as you see, it's 2022 and we're making reference to this today. Which is why we give honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for letting us know, without a shadow of a doubt, by letting us know that Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, the Moabites were the true possessors and the founders of the present Moroccan Empire. The present Moroccan Empire. And when you look up present, present is being in the same place as someone or something. Existing at a time, from Old French present, evident, at hand, within reach, as a noun at present time, modern French present, and directly from Latin presentinum. Present, at hand, insight, immediate, prompt, instant, contemporary, from past participle prasse, be before, someone or something, be at hand. Pre plus s to be, meaning abiding in a specified place, from the mid-14th century. Present Moroccan Empire. This is what Noble Drew Ali said in the Moorish Holy Quran. That was divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali for these Asiatics of America who claim they know who they are, but they're calling themselves Negro. And they came here on a slave ship. He said, no, I'm going to tie you to the present Moroccan Empire. How? By telling Moors in their questionnaire that everybody copied after Noble Drew Ali and had supreme lessons and all that stuff was questionnaires. And nobody wants to give him honors for being the founder of question and answer for the Asiatics in America for their learning. Now you better know your lessons and all that. Because it's regurgitation. You're not learning anything. You're just reciting. You're reciting is learning. That's not learning. That's brainwash. So Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, what is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality? Moorish American. The next logical question is, well, why are we that? Why are we Moorish American? Why aren't we African American? Why aren't we Cameroonian American? Why aren't we West African American? Why aren't we American American? Why aren't we Black American? Negro American? Why are we Moorish American? Then his answer to you is because you're descendants of Moroccans born in America. You're descendants of Moroccans born in America. And then he said, what's the nationality of Ruth? No. Nationality of Ruth? Ruth was a Moabitess. She was from the land of Moab. Oh, what was the modern name for those people, those ancient people called Moabites. What was their modern name? Guess what their modern name was? Moroccan. So if their modern name is Moroccan, and then we're descendants of Moroccans born in America, and the present Moorish Empire would have to be inhabited by Moroccans. And we're not talking about some 1956 Moroccans just became Morocco yesterday. We're talking about the empire when people had to build 2,000 churches. They had to try to bury, but they can't. So all they did was take down the sign. Every single mosque is now a church. Every single street is now going to be named after some modern European name. Because they know that the lost tribe of Shabazz are these niggers in America who don't know who they are. And they want to be everything else except tied to the Moorish Empire. Because they're descendants of Moroccans born in America. And their inhabitation extended from Africa across Atlantis, even onto the present, again, the present, North, South, Central America, and adjoining islands. That's where we are right now, right? The majority of the people, you're either from over there, continent of Africa, you're either from the islands, which is Atlantis, or you're from the mainland of the Western Hemisphere. The highly melanated people, the first people everywhere. You already know what's up. If you've been studying your lessons, you already know we're the first people everywhere. So who are these first people everywhere? These first people were the Moabites, Canaanites, Hittites, and all them. Controlling the planet. The entire world. Because even if you go down into the Philippines and all that, there's Moros there. That they know that they're Moros. They're not Filipino. They know they're not Filipino. That's the European who conquered them. Why would they be calling themselves who conquered them? So know that there's an empire. There's a Moorish Empire. And there's a Moorish Empire because Noble Drew Ali put it in the ethers when no one else would dare put it in the ethers. And he put it in the ethers, and Morris, who studied, picked it up. And we found out everything that we could about the Moorish Empire, and we're it. Ain't some stuff in some history book, 1400s and all that. We're the Moorish Empire. Present. Present in your face. You walk outside and you see a Moor, know that you're in the Moorish Empire. If you could see a Moor somewhere, even in the mirror, know there's a Moorish Empire. Doesn't matter what anybody says. They could have whatever their opinion they want. They're not Moors, so why is anybody even talking to them about Moors? And giving their opinion when there's actual facts documented that nobody's going to argue relative to Moors. And the history of the Moors and the Moorish Empire, or the Moroccan Empire, if they want to call it that. And it's not something that's going to be debated. And we're not talking about your nigger whoever's that make YouTube videos and go live on IG. We're talking about scholars, people with degrees. They're not debating this. Masons aren't debating Moors. Moor called me today. Seen a Mason. Hey, nice fez and all that. I'm a Mason and all that stuff. But you're playing around like the Moorish paradigm is not where it's at. When everybody knows. Joe Rogan knows. Oh! You better get on game if you're not, because you're going to be left behind.
Finally unified Spain, where they got rid of the Moors, and the Castilians kind of pieced together what we consider modern day Spain. Do you know what year they did that?
No.
1492.
Oh.
The year that Columbus. So they literally finally kicked the Moors out. By the way, they were really not nice.
The Moors are evil people.
Well, no, they were not nice to the Moors or the Jews.
The Moors, though, they were conquerors themselves.
They were conquerors, right? But
everybody was back then. But
I performed in Morocco. It's like a
honors to the Moors who study and who know that they're Moors. For the people who are going to see this later, right? The Moor said in the chat, the clerk at the dispensary said, "I love your fez." Do you see anybody else with a baseball hat told them they love their stuff? Anybody coming there with a toque or a nice jacket, some gaiters? Oh, I love gaiters and all that stuff. They don't care. They don't care. Everybody knows what's up except these Negroes in America who want to play that they're black and everything else except Moors. And then the ones who are Moors, you're looking at them funny like they're on part of some cult or something like that.
Amazing to think that, like, you know, we think of the colonizers as these Europeans, but the Arabs were colonizers too.
Mm-hmm.
They colonized Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's the Berbers I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, so the Moroccans that were in Spain were part of, you know, when Muhammad and all these guys rose up, the great Arab power was they took over and they got all the way into Spain and stuff like that. But it's insane to think that, I mean, this was a joke that I had when I went to Spain. Like, Spain took all the gold from Central and South America, all of it. So, like, there wasn't really that much gold in North America. There was gold in Central and South America, and Spain took it all, and they spent it. And so one of my jokes when I was in Spain, I'm like, where's the gold? Where is it?
Where's the gold? So hold on a second. So these people conquered some people called Moors, right? Put up churches in their conquered land and did all this stuff. There was also gold in all this? What do you mean? And if they're gold, what else was there that these people had? What else was there? Oh yeah, R.I.P. Sidney Poitier for long ships. For the same stuff with the golden bell and all that stuff, knowing that there's a vault of stuff somewhere that these people took from my ancestors. I want my stuff back. All the same story. How you lost your birthright and don't want to claim it back. You want to play like you're Negroes. You want to play like you're a fiction. When everybody knows the history. Let's look. Let's look. Honest to the Moors who study. Honest to the Moors who study. Air War College Research Report. 92. This is 92. Air War College Air University, United States Moroccan Relations, by Mohammed Salak, Lieutenant Colonel, Royal Moroccan Air Force. Royal Moroccan Air Force guy. Research report. Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama, 1991. Right. From the intro, if one were to ask any American to name the first country to recognize the independence of the United States, one would expect to hear answers such as France or Spain. If these two countries were not answered as priority one might even hear England, Prussia, the Netherlands, Italy, Greece, or some other countries of Africa or Asia. It is doubtful, however, that Morocco would ever be mentioned. It is doubtful, however, that Morocco would be mentioned when the question is brought up, name the first country to recognize the independence of the United States. Nobody would suspect Morocco. They're going to tell you about some English baron whatever and some British whatever. And they're going to go into all these different histories of all these different people. They're going to bring up Morocco. This particular situation led me to wonder if friendship may be a one-way street with the typical leaders of the United States. To this writer, a useful definition of friendship is mutually shared feelings which allow the beneficiaries to live in a sincere partnership environment. Obviously, the question that often comes to mind is why it is that Morocco has been constantly overlooked and overshadowed by needs of other countries. In the preface of an interesting and insightful book, U.S. Morocco 1776 to 1956 by Luella Jemima Hall, it is surprising that the part played by the U.S. in Morocco since 1776 has been almost entirely neglected in both American history and in innumerable volumes written by English, German, French, Spanish, and other European historians. U.S. in Morocco, the U.S. is over here. Hold on a second. U.S. in Morocco, but U.S. wasn't over there in Morocco. U.S. was over here. Remember, this is not what we say. This is what Luella J. Hall says in her research on Morocco-U.S. relations. That in 1776, the U.S. was in Morocco. I want you to digest what's being said to you. I want you to think about that. I really think about that. Remember, they just told you on Joe Rogan or whatever that the empires fell and all that. And the Moors got conquered. But in 1776, they're still going to the Moors to have relations? And then, on top of them having these relations, the relations are said to be happening in Morocco, but United States is over here in America. Before we go any further into anything, it has to sink into your head that US, whatever you think that is, country, corporation, business, states and cities and whatever like that, whatever you think U.S is, right? When they say United States, when you hear that said, whatever you think that is, it has to digest in your mind that that thing in 1776 was in Morocco. It is surprising that the part played by U.S. in Morocco since 1776 has been almost entirely neglected. As a domestic problem, the unpublished consular dispatches in the National Archives reveal a sordid story of the insufficiency, ignorance, corruption, and immoral conduct of many of the American consuls serving before and during the 20th century. This record is not redeemed by that of the State Department, whose actions during that time may be characterized as inefficient, negligent, and frequently parsimonious. You really think they don't know, huh? You really think that they don't know? All right. Let's see. Let's see if they really don't know. According to Luella J. Hall, one of the main reasons is expressed in the following statements. Morocco looked upon the United States as about the only nation that attends to its own business and that acts upon just and liberal principles. So in 1776, the United States was looked at by Morocco as the only nation that attends to its own business and that acts upon just and liberal principles. Right? Why? Because they were under them. So of course they're going to have to recognize them, because everybody else was trying to put them in slavery. All the other nations were treating the U.S. like property. We're going to board your ship, we're going to take your stuff, we're going to take your women, and you're going to just have to deal with it. Which is why they even wanted to have these relations that they had to pay for. So for them to talk to Morocco, they would have to pay something. You're not just walking up to the palace to talk to the emperor. you're going to have to pay. And you're going to have to pay the guy who is getting you connected with the emperor. That's why in the letter, that's why they didn't have finance to pay. Because they already hit them up for everything they got. What? We don't have anything else to give. We can't pay you taxes now on top of that. Like, let us set up our government. We see this land here, it's fertile, and you know what I mean, we can take advantage of this and try to get some finance to pay you guys, you know, the bounty. Because you're giving us permission to escape these other pirates over here. You're just some kinder pirates. Because the superior jurisdiction was the Moors. Because they were in Morocco. They weren't traveling the world and all that stuff in 1700s. They were in Morocco when they came over here. They thought they're coming over here to do something. They were here, supposed to be on their 13 colonies and stay there. You already know, just like today, you have the Indians who they're about subverting the empire, talking about this is some Turtle Island and all that crap. Listen to the language. Unfortunately for the Sultan, his advance did not get the attention of the war-weary and beleaguered U.S. Congress as he had wished. Receiving no acknowledgement of his gesture of goodwill in 1778, the Sultan made another attempt to establish relations with the U.S. through Mr. Stephen d'Aubert Cail, a French merchant of Salé. On May 26, 1779, Franklin wrote to the Committee of Foreign Affairs that he had received 2 letters from a Frenchman offering to act as minister for the U.S. and remarking that His Imperial Majesty wondered we had never thanked him for being the first power on his side of the Atlantic to acknowledge our independence. Although Congress finally informed the Sultan in December 1790 of its intention to appoint an envoy to negotiate the treaty, no action was taken. Does it sound like the Moroccans are in the superior position? Does it sound like the U.S. is on the run? Sound like the U.S. is in trouble? I'm busting and asking, who broke my plant? And everybody's mute. Everybody's mute. Nobody doesn't know who broke the vase. This is how they were walking around Morocco. On eggshells. So they were walking around Morocco. They didn't have any power here. Right? When President Washington eventually took office, and since he had previously witnessed the episode of U.S.-Moroccan friendship and the final ratification of the treaty, he immediately responded to the Sultan and acknowledged his willingness to maintain their friendship. As Luella J. Hall wrote, the new executive was aware of the importance of maintaining good relations with Morocco. why is it that it's Morocco? Why is it not the Indian guys, the Turtle Island people from over here? How come it's not with them? Why are they talking to some people across the Atlantic about some land across the Atlantic? Why is the new executive aware of maintaining good relations with Morocco, not good relations with the Indians whose land this is Turtle Island, so we talk to them to get permission to be over here? How come they didn't talk to the Turtle Island people to have permission? Why are they setting up their government and they're not talking to the indigenous people of the land? No, because the indigenous people of the land were Moroccan. You can get this at khalifamedia.com. Moors in America. Original painting of black Mohawk Indians in Moorish garb. So they knew that they were Moroccan. That's why they dressed like Moors. They didn't dress like what they show you Indians in the show now. They ain't Indians. Don't worry about the paint face and all that stuff. Mohawks and all that. Don't worry about that. What were they wearing? Were they bareback and running around here like they have no autopsy? Or were they civilized people? They had streets and lights and temples and castles and all that. Those are the Indians dressing in silks over here. And they're not Moors. How are they not Moors? Much of the terminology that the conquerors on the Spanish borderlands used during this initial period was drawn from the religious crusades and the Christian kingdoms of the Iberian Peninsula waged war against the forces of Islam during the Reconquest 7/11/1492. Again, the date again, the Joe Rogan and all them. Explaining how the habits of warfare forged their centuries died slowly. Francisco Lopez de Gomora, one of the chroniclers of the Mexico's conquest, wrote in 1523 that since the Christians had long fought infidels, the conquest of the Indies began when that of the Moors was over. Thus, despite the fact that there were few, if any, Moors in the Spanish borderlands, it was not uncommon for the colonists there to refer to the Indians as Moors. The Indians were described as carrying Moorish bows. They were accused of worshiping the devil in mosques, ceremonial chambers, and according to one Santa Fe resident, Joseph de Armillo, who suffered from insomnia, his sleeplessness in 1749 was due to a fear that the Moors might attack unexpectedly. Digging for red roots. Mahir Abdal Razak El. I am a Muslim from Cherokee, Blackfoot, American Indian community. I am also known as Eagle Sun Walker and serve as the pipe carrier warrior for the Northeastern Band of Cherokee Indians in New York. There are other Muslims in our group. What more you want? To know that it's supposed to be the Moorish paradigm that everybody's on. Not supposed to be anything else. These people know that we're Moors. We don't know that we're Moors. We're playing like we're everything else. No matter where you go. No matter where you go. It's going to be us there as the royalty. It's going to be us there as the royalty. And everybody's going to know that these are Moors. These are Moor heads. These are Moor crests. These are Moor names. These are Moor flags. These are Moor coat of arms. Everything goes back to the Moors, which is why Drew Ali said that's what we are. And he called us the ancient people. We're the ancient people, and he's telling us that we're Moorish. That should let you know something. That should really let you know. And if you don't know, you're the one that has issues. You got serious issues. Because nobody would ever say any of these stuff is African. Never. No one. Everybody knows that's the Blackamoor heads. Everyone knows. Everyone is copying us. And we're not copying ourselves like a dummy. Everybody else copying us, want to be us, and we want to be some other stuff instead of being who we are, which are Moors. They don't have any other options. If you're not Moors, then you're these people's property. It's that simple. Those are your options. This is not assumption. Right? Not assuming. Anyone who's against this, they're part of the conquerors. They're part of the pillagers and the rapists and the pedophiles and all that. They're the ones that you should be worrying about, not Moors. Moors aren't the problem. We're the least of your worries. The new executive was aware of the importance of maintaining good relations with Morocco. And Jefferson, new Secretary of State, was in an advantageous position to work for peace with all of the Barbary states. On December 1st, 1789, Washington addressed a letter to his great and magnanimous friend, Sidi Mohammed, informing him of the recently reorganized American government and apologizing for the lack of attention to Morocco during the transitional period. Why are they apologizing to them? Moroccans, they're in America. Oh, that's right. U.S. is in Morocco. So know that when they try to play this game, that they don't know who the Moors are. And they don't know what the red flag and the green star is. And they don't know, Moors say our nationality, that we're Moors. And you think they don't know. You've been played. Remember, this is their Air Force manual papers. This is not our stuff. This is their stuff. Showing the relations that they had with our ancestors in order to be over here. The Moors. Don't tell me about all these different names of whatever. You didn't hear none of that. Moors. That's who they were. Stop playing games. Washington also thanked the Sultan for the letters mediating for the U.S., which he had sent to the rulers of Tunisia, and promised continued effort to promote friendship and harmony between Morocco and the United States. Why are they not talking to the Indians here? What do they know? How do they know about over here being Moroccan Empire and all that stuff, and the Turtle Islanders thinking that they're the founders of some civilization? They haven't even left America ever, and they founded something. Oh, you found something and you never left where you're at. What are you talking about? You just came yesterday. We've been here. Everybody knows the dark-skinned people ruled the planet. Although the Moroccan sultans engaged their policy to support American goals regardless of the outcome of the interests of the kingdom, the U.S. behavior on many occasions showed indifference, inconsideration, and disinterest. Again, listen. The following statements summarize the U.S. leadership spirit toward the kingdom. Right? Toward the kingdom. Another invitation for the United States to intervene in Moroccan affairs came in 1855. Morocco proposed that the dispute, allusion to European kingdom disputes over control of land, be submitted to the arbitration of the U.S. Furthermore, the American government was requested to direct its representative to arbitrate or to use its good offices in all affairs in Morocco's internal relations. Collins pointed out to the State Department that the maintenance of this empire in its present hands was of importance to safety and welfare of mankind, that neutrality and friendship of Morocco would be vast importance to the United States, as affording shelter and supplies for the Navy in case of war with European powers. President Pierce declined politely to offer. In 1871, the new Sultan, Sidi Mohammed IV, requested the protectorate of America against European invasion. Again, the reply received was, while this government would regret any attempt on the part of the foreign powers at the dismemberment of the Empire of Morocco, and would consent to use its friendly offices to prevent such an act, it would nevertheless decline to attempt any offer from His Majesty to confer upon the United States a protectorate over his dominions. See that? Empire of Morocco. It's right there. Empire of Morocco. Empire of Morocco. They don't know? No, it's only these people here who don't know. It's only people here who don't know. If you'd hear what Moors are saying, you'll be further off. But you don't want to hear what Moors are saying, fine. Don't hear what Moors are saying. Know that what Moors are saying is where it's at. And this is non-debatable. You're either going to get on board or you're going down with the ship. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. They're not done. They're not done with you yet. Not done with you yet. In a previous address to American audiences, General Guillaume said, "The Moroccan is not your colonial ancestor. If you must draw a parallel, the Moroccan is your American Indian. We did not buy Casablanca for a string of glass beads. We do not coop the Moroccans up on reservations. We build alongside them, showing them by example the way to progress. Do not criticize that which you do not understand." Do not criticize that which you do not understand. Why? We're going to let you know why. Let you know why. Matter of fact, we'll let somebody else tell you.
We'll look at the organization and say, well, you ain't got but that many members. Can't be nothing going on up in here. And my uncle would say, fools rush in where wise men and women fear to tread. Meaning, because you see a whole bunch of people in some place doesn't automatically mean that that's some place that you need to be, right? So the reality is you need to just study for yourself. I was never pressured. He would just occasionally invite me to the temple, say, well, I'm going to go to the temple this Friday, you want to go? Or I'm going to go to the temple on Sunday, you want to go? Sometimes I said yes, other times I said no. The times that I said yes, I'd sit there. There wouldn't be but 6 people in the whole temple. And I'm in church and there are 140 people in the church. What's going on here? But I'm 19 years old now, 20 years old. And then afterwards, when I started hearing, I was like, wait a minute, whoa, now I get it. Most of the folks outside are amnesiac Negroes.
Juali said, "You're not Negro, black, colored. What do these people want to be? Amnesiac Negroes." They have lost it mentally. They don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. That's why it's our duty as Moors to uplift fallen humanity. Because they better know. If they don't know, they're not going to be around. And we're talking spiritual. The people have become zombies. And the only thing that's going to wake them from their sleep is their nationality and their birthrights and the truth about their history as Moors. That's all there is. And again, we give honors to Noble Juali for kickstarting it. For having the vision. For having the vision. For there to be a temple here for Moors to learn about their nationality and birthrights. And then Moors seeing us wanting to know about Noble Juali and the fact that we're from Toronto, to go out and pull the article out. Pull the article out to show that we're not just wanting to know about this because it's some black thing. Some African know thyself thing. This is prophecy happening right now. That this is something that Noble Juali talked about in the 20s and it's about to happen. Him being represented in this jurisdiction. And these Moors went through 1800 proclamation and all that stuff to show how over here is a fraud. And Queen doesn't have any authority here because over here is Morocco. And we're resurrectors of the Moroccan Empire in the north. They're resurrectors of the resurrection of the Moorish Empire near Mecca. You would say Chicago. Then whatever other Moors in whatever jurisdiction they're in, they're the resurrection of the Moorish Empire there. And like he said, there's few. There's few. Very few. Who really checked it out. Very few. So it should be temples all over. It shouldn't just be us. It should be temples all over. Because every Moor is a temple. Every individual Moor. They themselves are the temple. They themselves are the constitution and bylaws. They are the 5-point star. Moors. There's a connection that Moors have to this that the outsiders will never have, no matter how much of this they study. Because Moors are being it. So you can research Chinese people on until you learn their language and you start being Chinese, you ain't know nothing about that. You're outside. You're in the dark. Right? They have their light. Noble Drew Ali brought us our light. He brought us our perspective that we're supposed to be looking at things from. So that we can take our place. And for us to take our place. Drew Ali told you don't give out the slave name. We go there researching the slave name and so much stuff coming out about the slave name. So much stuff coming out about the slave name, you have to wonder. How is it that, we lost this? It ain't that we lost it. We gave it up. We abandoned it for the Negro, Black, African BS. For the slave history, for the victim socialization mindsets and the European mindsets. We gave up our stuff for all that. So they're going to tell you, a slave name, and then Drew Ali's the only one to say, don't throw away the slave name. Why are you doing that? There ain't no slave name. That's why Moors are inspired to study, and Moors go study and they research and they come back with stuff and they're like, what the hell is this? You've been playing me the whole time? And there's ancient and modern Britons. David McRitchie. In short, these turf-built wigwams are the dwellings of the Scoto-Picts, or Egyptian Moors. Whether we look at these people in their latest individual form, or as they appeared in Hebrides last century, or an earlier date than that, when they formed an important political entity in the British Isles, which their civilized and hybrid descendants still do, and their dwellings from one of the very numerous links that unite the painted Moors or the Scotland with certain kindred races in Europe, Asia, and America. So, our slave name had people How do you get that name? You're not Scottish. No, but we're descendants of these ancient Egyptians, and we're descendants of these ancient Scots, and we're descendants of these ancient Picts and Celts. We're them. And guess what they call those people? Moors. Where's the Egyptian Moors and nobody's telling you about Egyptian Moors? Footnote. You know, I always read the footnotes because there might be something in there. The radical meaning of this word would seem to be something that covers or encloses. In its Gaelic sense of a covering for the body, it is found among the Moors of North America, as for example, in the machicota, or principal female garment, referred to by Longfellow in a note to Hiawatha, which the word seems as if it had been once used with petticoat, the principal garment, and the undergarment. There are other so-called Indian words which are still to be found in English dictionaries, and where the resemblance increase is absolute identity. Pictures as the common habitation of the border Scots, Moors, or Picts during the early part of the 15th century. So if the Scots and the Picts and these peoples were Moors, and Moors are dark-skinned people, who ruled those lands called Scotland? Who is it? Can't hear you. No, okay. Well, you thought it was some modern pale people? Ancient and modern Britons. Nevertheless, it is manifest that the Black Douglases, the Galwegians proper, or Galloway Picts, and the wild Scots of Galloway were one and the same people. In this way, the Douglases, as a tribe of Scots, demonstrate that the early Scots were Moors, or as we know them, Gypsies, which comes from Egyptian. And Galloway is the origin of Callaway, and the Danes are Moors. If you didn't get that one. The Danes are Moors. The Galloway Picts and the wild Scots were one and the same people. Callaway comes from Galloway. And Galloway were Scots who were Moors, not black Indians and all that. Not some tribe of some tribe. They were Moors. These people are going to play you all day out of your birthright and hang you out to dry, play you for your birthright. Now, there was probably some difference between a Moor and a Saracen, although in heraldry there does not seem to be much distinction. For all the Seti people who thought some Saracens were some Europeans? No. The Saracens Arabs weren't no pale people, no, good try. The Persians, no, they weren't pale people, no, good try. Asia, no, Japan, no, there were no pale people there. There were no pale people there either. Now remember, we're talking about Europe right now. And you're talking about Europe and talking about Saracens and all that stuff, and you're talking about dark-skinned people, then there's obviously a problem here, right? Somebody's been lying. They're trying to make you think that you don't own the planet. They're trying to make you think that you're stuck in some hood on the corner of Foster and Jenkins or whatever. When you're in Morocco, we already showed you that United States is in Morocco. So what are we talking about? If United States is in Morocco, and that's their naval Department of whatever. And they're saying out their mouth that United States is in Morocco. That's them talking. Do you still think they don't know what's up? And the fact that they're pretending like they don't know what's up and you're riding with them pretending that they don't know what's up when they know what's up, you're an idiot. The opinion which has been most generally supported and prevails at the present time is that the word was originally Sharkian, an Arabian word signifying Eastern people, and used in contradistinction to Maghrib, Maghribi, or Western people. At the present time, remember we did the etymology of present. So you realize when you hear present, know what they're talking about when they say present. And present is at hand. Present is within reach. At present time, existing at the time. Insight, immediate, prompt, instant, contemporary. Present. So at this present time, right, at this present time, the word was originally Sharkeyn, Sharkeyn, an Arabian word signifying Eastern people, and used in contradistinction to Maghribi, or Western people, the Moors of Morocco. Right? So the Moors of Morocco. Right? So put that on the post-it and we put that right there. The Moors in Morocco. And then we go back to the military guys. And the military guys telling you, the Moroccan is not your colonial ancestor. If you must draw a parallel, the Moroccan is your American Indian. So if the American Indian is Moroccan, then that would mean that America's Morocco. So if America's Morocco, and then over there's Morocco, and the Scots and the Gypsies are Moors, and the Saracens are Moors, and the Arabs are Moors, does that sound like pretty much the planet? Or do you still think that Moors are only limited to some little place in Morocco? Maghribi is Western people. We already told you that the colonizer people are telling you that United States is in Morocco. Right? They're telling you that United States is in Morocco. So if they know that United States is in Morocco, if they know that, right? If they're sure that United States is in Morocco, how come you're in doubt? Why is it that you don't know? Why is it that ancient and modern Britons again the Picts of Galloway were Moors? Whether, therefore, we view them as a 12th century Moor of Galloway or a 16th century representative of the Douglases, the black men of Galloway, we see distinctly the same stock As historical Moors, they are pixed or painted men. And then the painted men, remember, and then the painted men are the same painted man from Robin Hood with Morgan Freeman. Then the girl walked up to, did God paint you? Did God paint me? The painted men, the Moors. We're not assuming. Everybody knows. You don't know. How come you don't know who you are and everybody else knows who you are? You're the only one who doesn't know who you are. Playing like you know yourself. You know Jack. You don't know that you're a Moor. You don't know yourself. Stop playing games. Go play games with people who like to play games. You've been lied to forever. Moors come here to tell you the truth, and now you're debating us. And you never debated these foreigners lying to you or whatever. You never debated none of these fake black scholars telling you BS all these years. You're debating us. And we're giving you documented research that you can go and check for yourself. And like Brother Sheldon said, you're never going to go debate these people who have street manhole covers and all that stuff with Moors on them. All these Moorish stores all throughout Europe. Everybody knows you. You don't know yourself. Everybody knows somebody who looks like one of these. Tell me that we're not the same people all over? Everyone. We're the only ones playing games. We're the only ones playing games. We're all of it. From the European side to the quote-unquote Middle Eastern side to the Asian side up into anywhere you go. It was Moors there. For hundreds of years, there were Moors there. Dark-skinned people ruling. Not somebody's nigger slave. Ruling. Like all this is us. And we don't know. All this is us and we don't know. All of it is us. And we have no idea that we were never slaves to anyone. And if we were a slave to somebody, it was to ourselves. We're a slave to sin. We're a slave to somebody. We're a slave to being a dumbass. Moors. It was their game. They had, you were in the history. When you wrote the history, you stopped writing the history. Once they're telling it, they're going to tell it fabricated. That's not just what it is. They're mad. Be the one to bring ancient back. You be the ancient if they're not talking about it and you're not seeing it represented. You be it. I'm waiting on them. Now you be it. So that it was actually regarded as the national dance, the Morris dance of England. England has never been invaded from Morocco during historic times, nor even is the dance the property of the people of Morocco. Yet it is peculiarly British, and yet of Moorish origin. Yes, but the date of its introduction into Britain by the Moors was the date of the landing of the Pictish people, whensoever that may have been. Whensoever this dance, called the Moorish dance, was brought to England by the Picts. Who they're saying the dance is of Moorish origin, but England was never invaded by Moroccans. So why would a Moorish dance be in England if Moors never invaded England? Because there's never England. That's Moors' land. Moors ruled there. That's why. Parchment scroll of Zurich, coat of arms. Why are you on some Switzerland stuff? Who are you? Who are you that you're everywhere? Who are you? Do you know who you are? Happy Holy Day to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to you for knowing the truth about your nationality and your birthrights. Honors to you. Be careful. You got 2 retrogrades going on right now, so watch yourself. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. You already know. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. Wherever you're at, once you know you're a Moor, honors to you for knowing that you're a Moor. Honors, supreme honors to you. Honors to all the mothers. Honors to all the mothers. And honors to the Prophet. Prophet is the man. We already know what's up. Peace and love, Moors. Islam.